You're reading finance books. Lots of them. You've probably read 3, 4, maybe 5 of them in the last year. You understand compound interest. You know the 4% rule. You can explain why your friend's credit card debt is killing his future. But here's the thing that keeps you up at night. You're still not rich. You're learning the right concepts. You're watching the right creators. You're doing everything YouTube says you should do. But your bank account looks almost exactly the same as it did 2 years ago. And that pisses you off. My name is Alex Grant, and I spend way too much time thinking about personal finance and the ideas behind finance books. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Today, we're breaking down The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. And I want to be honest with you right from the start. This isn't a book that will teach you a formula to get rich. Type 1, the formula books. They promise you a system, a spreadsheet, a 7-step plan to $1 million. Type 2, the psychology books. They explain why you don't follow the map, even when you know it's correct. It's not a blueprint. It's not a checklist. It's an X-ray of your financial brain. Housel's central argument is simple but brutal. Your financial success is not determined by how much you know. It's determined by how you behave. Let me give you a concrete example that Housel uses throughout the book, and then we'll translate it into $2,026. The core mathematical concept in The Psychology of Money isn't a new formula. It's this: the person who saves consistently for 30 years will always beat the person who invests aggressively for 10 years and then stops. Sounds obvious, right? But here's where psychology destroys logic. Let's say you're 25 years old right now, in 2026. You have 2 paths in front of you. Path A, the slow and boring route pause. Save $500 every single month. Put it into a boring S&P 500 index fund, 7% average annual return. Keep doing this every month for 40 years until age 65. Total amount you contribute, $240,000. Final portfolio value at age 65, $1,847,000. Path B, the aggressive hero route. Save and invest $2,000 a month for 10 years, age 25 to 35. Then, you stop. You're tired. You want to enjoy your money. You quit investing. Total amount you contribute, $240,000. The same. Age. Final portfolio value at age 65, $892,000. Wait. Let me read that again, because this is the part that breaks people's brains. You put in the exact same amount of money. You got the same 7% returns, but one person ends up with $1.8 million and the other ends up with $892,000. That's a difference of $955,000. That's almost $1 million difference. And that difference is pure compound interest. That difference is time. That difference is showing up even when you don't feel like it, even when you're bored, even when the market crashes and your statement looks terrifying. Let that sink in. Here's the kicker. Most people will not choose Path A. They'll choose Path B. They'll invest hard for a decade. They'll see the wins. They'll think, look at me, I'm doing it. They'll get bored. They'll take their profits. They'll think, I deserve a break. I'll start again later. But compound interest doesn't care about breaks. It doesn't care about your motivation. It doesn't care about your life circumstances. It just cares about time in the market. That's the first big insight from the book. So if the math is so clear, why do people choose Path B? Housel's answer is this. Your financial decisions are not made in your rational brain. They're made in your emotional brain. And your emotional brain is wired for survival, not wealth. Your specific brain evolved 200,000 years ago in an environment where scarcity was real. You might not eat tomorrow. Greed was adaptive. If you saw resources, you grabbed them now. Fear was essential. There were actual predators watching you. Patience was a luxury. If you saw food, you ate it immediately. You didn't think, I'll save this for next month. Fast forward to 2026, you have a salary deposit every 2 weeks, you have financial security, you have insurance, you have a roof, but your brain hasn't evolved. Your brain is still wired like a hunter-gatherer. So when you look at your investment account balance going up, your emotional brain says, "Great, we're winning. Let's enjoy this. What if we lose it?" Your rational brain knows you should hold for 30 years, but your emotional brain is screaming, "Scarcity! Grab it! Use it! Protect it!" This is why people stop investing after 10 years, not because they don't know better, but because their psychology doesn't feel safe letting go. Housel calls this the difference between being smart and being sensible. But you need to be sensible. You need to have a financial plan that your emotional brain can stick with. A plan that works with your psychology, not against it. This is the real power of the book. Here's a common myth that the psychology of money completely destroys. The myth: if I just had more knowledge, I'd be rich. And sure, knowledge matters, but Housel's research shows something else. The Hashone indicator of financial success is not IQ. It's behavior consistency. A person with average intelligence who saves 20% of their income for 30 years will always be richer than a person with genius-level IQ who saves 5% and then stops for 3 years, then starts again. The second person is smarter. The first person is richer. This is why reading 10 books won't make you rich if your behavior doesn't change. They read the book, they think, "Oh, now I understand myself better." And they think that understanding alone will change them. It won't. When you see your savings account has $10,000, your survival brain relaxes. We made it. We're safe. But the mathematical reality is that $10,000 in 2026 is not enough for true safety. Your emotional brain doesn't care about the math. Your emotional brain sees $10,000 and feels relief, so you stop saving. Housel's insight, and this is important, is that this is normal. This is not a personal weakness. This is how all human brains work. Because you stop blaming yourself for being bad with money, and you start planning for your psychology instead of pretending you don't have one. For example, you know your brain will want to spend the money when it sits in your checking account, so you automate it. You make the transfer happen before you see the money. You literally remove the choice. Or, you know your brain will feel scared when the market drops, so you don't look at your statement during crashes. You know that looking won't help, it'll just trigger panic. Or, you know your brain needs to feel safe before it will continue saving. So you publicly announce your $10K milestone to friends. You celebrate it. Then you move the goalpost to $25K. This is working with your psychology. This is being sensible. Now, let me give you the honest critique. Because no book is perfect, and I'm not going to pretend this one is. The Psychology of Money is beautifully written. Genuinely beautiful. But it's also somewhat abstract. There's no budget template in this book. There's no investment order. If you finish this book and think, okay, now what do I actually do? You'll be a little bit lost. Housel writes for people who already understand the basics. You might need to read The Simple Path to Wealth first, then come back to this one. The third thing, the book is somewhat US-centric. If you're reading from outside the United States, some of the examples and tax implications won't directly apply. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people who read The Psychology of Money will not change their financial behavior. They'll post about it on Instagram. Just finished this masterpiece. and then they'll go back to exactly how they were before. Why? Because understanding your psychology is not the same as changing your psychology. What actually changes psychology is repeated behavior over time. You need to save $500 this month and $500 next month until your brain stops triggering the fear response, until your brain trusts that you're safe. Action changes you. Repeated action. Boring, unsexy, consistent action. It's the wake-up call that tells you, hey, your brain is fighting you. You need to plan for that. Once you know that, you can build a system that works with your psychology, not against it. Okay, so here's what you're actually going to do after watching this video. I'm giving you 5 specific actions that come directly from the insights in The Psychology of Money. Identify your financial trauma. Housel's first chapter is called No One's Crazy. The point, everyone's financial behavior comes from their past. Maybe your parents fought about money. Maybe you watch someone you love lose everything in a market crash. Your behavior today is not random. It's a reaction to something. What to do? Spend 15 minutes today and write down this sentence. My relationship with money is shaped by blank. Fill in the blank. Be honest. Be specific. This one insight will explain so much about why you overspend, undersave, or obsess about investing. And once you see the pattern, you can start to change it. Choose one metric to track. You don't need 17 spreadsheets. You just need one number that you check regularly. Track it every single month. Write it down. Watch it slowly increase. This is how you reprogram your survival brain to believe you're safe and building wealth. When you see that number go up even by $500, your brain gets a little hit of dopamine. Your brain feels safer. Your brain becomes more willing to continue saving. Automate your savings before you see the money. Your emotional brain will always find a reason to spend money if it's available. So, don't give it the option. What to do? Set up automatic transfer this week. Salary comes in, is greater than $X, automatically goes to savings account. Automation is the cheat code. Define your enough number. If you don't know what enough looks like, your brain will always feel like you need more. This is the hedonic treadmill. What to do? Write down this number. I will feel financially secure when I have $blank in my account. Once you have that number, you have a target. Read the book, but with this mindset. Read The Psychology of Money with a pen in your hand. Mark up the pages. The change comes from your reflection, not from Housel's words. Once you know that, you can build a system that works with your psychology. Here's the thing about The Psychology of Money that I want to leave you with. This book doesn't make you rich, it makes you aware. And awareness is the most dangerous thing, because once you know that your brain is sabotaging you, you can't unknow it. So the real question isn't, is this book worth reading? The real question is, am I ready to change? Because if you're not ready, don't read this book. You'll feel bad about yourself and then do nothing. But if you are ready, if you're willing to be honest, automate, track, define enough. Here's what happens in 2 years if you take action on these 5 things. You'll have rebuilt your financial psychology. You'll have 24+ months of automatic savings stacking up. You'll feel wealthy, not because you have more money, but because your brain finally believes you're capable of keeping it. And that belief is worth more than any formula. You'll stop stress eating because of money anxiety. You'll stop checking your account obsessively. You'll stop feeling the panic when the market dips. Your friends will ask, how are you so calm about money? And you'll realize that you're not calm because you're rich. You're calm because you have a system. Here's what happens if you don't change. You'll read more books. 3 years from now, you'll be in the exact same position. And the saddest part? It won't be because you're stupid. It'll be because you never designed your life around your actual psychology. You can't afford that. Not in 2026. not when time is your biggest asset and you're wasting it. First, go get The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. It's $15. That's cheaper than most people spend on coffee in a week. Get the physical book if you can. It's more fun to mark up. Second, pick one of the 5 actions I just gave you and commit to it for 30 days. Not all 5, one. Just one. Build momentum. When you finish the book, come back to this video and tell me, what will you change? What's your one action? Comment below. Seriously. I read every comment and I respond to people who are genuinely trying. Subscribe. Because next week, we're breaking down another book that will actually change how you think about money. And the week after that. And the week after that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.